Okay, I wanted to try my new ISO-HEET Stove out on a cook time. Had a lot of troubles with my experimental one last night that I was using here. Finally got it to work after many attempts. Then I went and transferred that thought into what is an M-style stove. I'm sorry, a D-style stove. This is just a washer on the base, big heavy washer, aluminum tube, a nipple, JB welded in because I had a little trouble with the. Actually, this one's not JB welded in. This one I actually got the threads to work, and I got a big washer on there. Well, not a big washer, but a washer on there to tighten it up. I had a little trouble leaking after I built it. JB welded to a wedding tin. In fact, it's actually this wedding tin's lid. So this wedding tin fits, inside there to close this off. If I wanted to squeeze it down and shut it off, I could switch it back in there. Now, at first I tried, I was trying different size heights off of the top of it to get it to work, and I found this one works the best. This is actually 1.5 squares in there. When I did 2 squares, it was too much and I was getting all kinds of smoke and stuff, so I dropped it down. I originally tried the 3 squares. I originally tried 4 squares, I think, but I cut this one down because 4 squares was never going to work. So the 1.5 squares, which actually puts 1 square above the wedding tin, works wonderfully. Now, this is the same as what the mushroom type stove has. It has felt going down the center and then a ring of felt around the top of it in this tray here. And that's why it works really well as an alcohol stove. You can remote feed it as an alcohol stove, and I have done that and it works good. But the problem is with the alcohol stove, you need more height between the flame and the pot. So I'm going to keep this one. I think this is a good height for that. I may need to make another one that's a little bit longer than this. I think I have it over here. This one right here fits down inside there, and that would put 1, 2, 3, 4 rings above, 4.5 rings above this thing. So to make this a ISO-HEET stove, as I mentioned in my last video, I need to have both of the pot holders to raise it up. Or I could go with an additional pot holder that fits around the whole thing like this and then raises it up. But I think that's bigger than what I have to carry. So I think if I just go with this one or this one of the two of those, then I will have a 2-part stove. So I'm going to test it like this right now and see how well it burns on the ISO, because I haven't done a test for time since I finished this one. Last night I was having some tests and they were taking 20 minutes to boil a pot of water on the ISO. This is 70% in here now. I tried 90. It was a little hotter actually, but it smutted up the pot really bad. Actually, the bottom of my pot, I don't know if we saw it in the last video, but this thing is burnt on black. It's not smut, but it's burnt on black, I don't know, tar, smut burnt up. So that, it does dirty up the pot, but the thing is, it dirties it up and then it burns it on. So as long as you're cooking for a little while, you don't have to worry about it rubbing off on your clothes or your pack. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm going to feel it up. I kind of want to watch here to see if it leaks. I tried tightening my bottom nut up a little bit. The additional problem that I think I'm going to have with this is the fuel is thicker than alcohol, than heat. So this is rubbing alcohol basically. It just crawls out. You got to really squeeze it out to get it out. Just to get it out to the edge. So you're really pumping it in there hard. I don't know why it's so much thicker than the other stuff. So, and then you do that and it sucks back out most of it. You don't need very much of this stuff. In fact, I've found that less is better. So I tend to turn this right side up, pump some air in, and suck back out all the extra fuel. I am concerned that the 70% alcohol leaves water behind, so I'm not sure how that will affect the whole thing. I could be sucking water back in here every time I do this. After a burn, if there's anything left, it could be, you pump the next batch in, there's a bunch of water in there. So you probably need to let it dry between. And I'm using carbon felt, and as you can see, it still takes a little while to light up. It's just slowly, I'm going to show you real quick, slowly reaching out to the rest of that. Doesn't light very fast. So sometimes what I do is I just pump a little bit more fluid in there. I had it upside down. Pump a little more fluid in there just to get it going. Put that on there. Start the timer. Now, you can see that at first, when you put it on, it really dies down again. So I'm not sure if this will heat up in any less time than I did yesterday when it took 20 minutes. After it got hot, after the pot got hot yesterday, the flame was a perfect flame almost all the way out to the edge out here. So I want to see if it can do it by itself without some kind of preheat. Alright, we're 7 minutes in. Just wanted to give you an update here. A lot of moisture farmed on the bottom of the pot. And the flame just wasn't getting going very well. So I'm not sure if I didn't let it preheat long enough, or if just having cold water. I think it's like 55 degrees in my basement, and this water's been down here all night, so I'm assuming that it's the same temperature. But it's just not heating up very much. You can see the flames actually have spread out a little more, but they're just not far enough out, I don't think. And they're staying blue, so that's good. I don't believe there's any smut on the bottom of the pot, but I can't really tell because there's such a sharp gap between there. So we're going to let it go a little longer. We're at 8 minutes now. If it's a 30-minute boil time, that's pretty long. So we'll see. Alright, we're at 13.5 minutes. Flame pattern hasn't changed much. Not a bad flame pattern. I'd like to see it spread out a little further. I'm not sure if it's going to. We're not boiling yet. We started to have a little bit of a simmer. It's just some very little bubbles forming right underneath where the flame's at. So I think we're going to be a very long process here. It's 14 minutes. May try switching back to the full 2 rings instead of 1.5 rings. See if it makes a difference. I don't know. We're going to try a few shots with this and see where we go. Alright, we're at about 20 minutes here. I just checked it. Almost knocked it over, but I just checked it. And the flame pattern's holding pretty steady the whole time at this point. It started to die down for 1 second. I had to fill it back up, and when I filled it back up, it actually went way down. I guess because of the cold alcohol that came in, or possibly I was pushing water up from the bottom. Not sure. But then it came back up. It took almost a whole minute to come back up to the size flame that it's at now. But we're getting a simmer right now. You can hear it simmering just a little bit, but not a boil yet, and that's 20 minutes. So we're going to have to try something different. I'm thinking maybe I'll go back to the 2 rings and 3 rings and try again and just see if the height makes a difference. Obviously I don't want the soot on the bottom. That's my first priority because I don't think I want soot. If it's going to be soot, it's not worth doing. We got steam coming out. Oh, we got a boil. A little boil. I don't think we're ever going to get a rolling boil on this type of alcohol. But we've got a little boil. So 21 minutes about. Gotta say boil. That's a long time to get a boil, but it is a viable cook stove if you can't come across any heat. Alright, so I put the felt back in to see how it would do with the 2 square pot stand and the felt. And this is a pretty good flame pattern, but a lot of yellow flames. Not sure if that's a good or bad thing here. Let it run like this for just a minute. And again, the pot is already hot, so we're not starting from a cold pot. Alright, well that's enough for this test. I think we'll do some more testing, and then we obviously want to try it with the switching this stove over to a methanol alcohol or heat stove and see how it does. I'm almost positive we're going to have to go to 3 rings to get that to even work, because otherwise we're just smothering out the heat too much. Thanks for watching.